G'day everyone, Chris Stubbs and Taylor Marlene with you. We're here in Gippsland for the fourth round of the E-Road Australian Rally Championship. It's the middle of everywhere Gippsland Rally, and this is a spectacular part of the world. To the north of us here, we've got the snow-capped mountains of Omeo in our alpine region of Victoria. And behind us, I think the view says it all, right, Taylor?
It certainly does. Isn't it just the middle of everywhere? We've got so many locations here. Some of them are world title holders. We have the longest stretch of undisrupted beach coastal line right here. That's 90 miles, which is pretty impressive, I'd say.
150 kilometres in my language. That is a long piece of sand. And this little town, Seaspray, beautiful, typical of the coastal little towns that you get along this part of the world. And they've got their surf clubs, they've got their caravan parks, a great place to be. But it's not just outside that's interesting, there's lots to see and do inside too.
Now, we can't come past Mafra without visiting one of the hidden gems here at the Gippsland Vehicle Collection. This place is completely run by volunteers, non-for-profit. It's pretty incredible. What makes this place really special is the incredible rarity that we have in this room right now. We have vintage cars that have all been fully restored, and we also have a turnaround every 4 months. A new collection comes through. So this just gets better and better every time.
It is one of the leading tourist destinations in this area. $2 million a year it injects into the local economy. Around 20,000 visitors come through here. And why not two? In the back corner as well, you've got Model World Mafra, more than 3,500 different models. So certainly something for everyone to come and have a look at.
Well, Stubbsy, we have one more stop on the list, and this one's certainly going to get the adrenaline pumping.
From coastal towns and cool cars, Gippsland really is the middle of everywhere, but the best way to see it is from in the air.
That's right, Chris, it's definitely delivering. Here is a World War II combat warbird flight that we're about to take, and oh my God, here at Combat Flights Gippsland, it's going to be an unreal experience. We're going to be tumbling, turning, doing flips, and I don't know how this is going to go. I'm so nervous, but the sights are going to be insane.
I'm a true gentleman, so Taylor, ladies first.
Such a gentleman. Thank you so much. Very brave.
So how was it?
Oh my God, unreal.
What am I in for?
Oh, something crazy. I cannot believe what a kick that G-Force has. Oh my God.
Awesome stuff. Would you do it again?
Definitely, but I think I passed out almost a couple of times there, borderline.
Well, you don't look like a great job.
Oh, it was awesome.
Holy cow, you're kidding me. And one for the left. Here comes the cheese squeeze. Oh, yeah. There you are, back on Mother Earth.
Yes! Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so good. It is a beautiful part of the world, Gippsland, something for everyone, no doubt about that. From the snow-capped mountains of Omeo and the alpine regions through the fertile farmlands down to the beaches and the peninsulas of Wilson's Promontory. It is a great place to be and a great place to be competitive rallying like we are today. For the middle of everywhere Gippsland Rally, this is the fourth round of the E-Road Australian Rally Championship. This stage is Thomson 3, so our third pass through this section in the fringes of the Alpine National Park. It's cool, that's to say the least. I'm running the vest as well as the coat. I'm a little bit softer than you. You've gone for the braver approach. Chris Stubbs with you, and alongside me is Dean Herridge. And Dino, we have got a massive day ahead for us today. Good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Great vision, by the way, there. I'm missing out on the flying. It's a spectacular place to go rallying, therefore. And this is our endurance round. We come off the back of yesterday, and of course some storylines to tell there as well.
Yep, absolutely. So the event schedule, it's a big weekend, isn't it? Today, 91 kilometres across 8 different stages, but we know a lot of these roads quite well now, so we're expecting today will be even faster than yesterday.
Yeah, and you look at that schedule there, a lot of repeats in there. So, some of the talking points will be tyre wear, the roads. The drivers can be a little bit more conditioned to that. They'll be feeling comfortable about the roads ahead. There's been no real weather overnight. And actually, they sped up at the night time, which we'll talk a little bit further in the broadcast as well.
The Easy Up Power Stage, a great way to conclude this weekend's rally. 10 bonus points, and Deep Creek is in there, which was voted last year as the #1 rally stage of the year. It's going to be quick, isn't it, that one in particular?
Yeah, and it's a really quick stage. I mean, really a driver's stage. And if you have a look at the overall results from last night, you can see Hayden Paddon a minute 7.3 in front of Harry, and the Toyotas are really close in the battle. So, that's the telling point to me. He's now not in autopilot. You can't relax. You've got to concentrate through here, but a big lead there to maintain through today. That's
it. So Harry and Lewis just 10 seconds apart after yesterday's competitive stages. This is today, right? So this is where we are. Thomson 3, 14.34 kilometres. We're about 1.5 kilometres in.
What a spot we've got.
We have picked the best seat in the house, haven't we? It is going to be so quick through here. What sort of speeds are we looking at in this area in particular?
Well, I think over our shoulder we're looking at like 160 kilometres an hour leading into this right-hander. Really swept road. You'll see that. Can't wait to see the front-running cars here and the commitment from some of the best drivers in the country.
Well, Hayden Paddon, he's going to be leading us off. Let's hear from him in a few moments' time. I think he's about to get underway. So let's
watch him first.
We
can hear him in the background. We can hear that Hyundai now. There we go, into shot. So the aerial shot coming through. We'll have a look. Here we were talking it up. Full commitment. Like I said, a minute 7 lead over Harry Bakes. He won the opening stage this morning. It was a small run through. Look at that, not lifting through. Sets it up. You can see really well swept road. But just the commitment from the guys in the car, the attitude, like just giving a little flick on the right hand and nail it through. Left-hand hairpin tucks it in. A little wide on the outside there, but just full commitment. A class driver. The cars are unbelievable. It's magic.
All right, let's hear from Hayden Paddon.
Hayden Paddon, you had a really strong start yesterday and moving throughout the day into the night time. How are you approaching today?
A little bit steady as she goes today. Just need to look after that lead, obviously, and obviously not let off too much and not lose the rhythm, but just keep enough pressure on. And if the Bates boys get a few stage wins, that's not going to worry us today. Just get through and then obviously have a push on the power stage.
Nice and consistent, and the power stage is a brand new stage as well, so that must be exciting, kind of getting some fast pace in there.
Well, obviously we get 2 goes at it, so the first one will be a bit of a dress rehearsal, sort of check out the pace notes, and then it's a really fast flowing stage downhill. Rewards commitment, so it'll be, I think, a very closely fought power stage.
Sounds like a confident run. Thanks, Hayden.
Thank you.
Well, he was looking good too, wasn't he? That was with Taylor Marlene there at Galvanised Insurance Rally Central. He was quick through here.
Yeah, and he looks sorted. When he spoke to me, it's the best the car, he said, has felt all season, which is a bit worrying for the rest of the team. And it's the biggest gap we've probably seen, just over 100 kilometres to be a minute out in front. The Toyotas have a little bit to make up, but now it's conserve mode. We didn't reset like we might do on a sprint rally. It's about the endurance side of things, so he gets to maintain that lead. And the storyline is really about now the Toyotas. They're 10 odd seconds behind. We're going to hear Harry in the background who'll come into shot very shortly. Hayden went on to win the first one this morning by just 0.8 of a second, and the Toyota split by just 0.1. Wow. So this Thomson stage will be really telling between Harry and Lewis as they come into shot now. So let's have a look at, particularly past where we can see Stubbsy coming up ahead of us. So full commitment down through here. Let's have a look, flick through this little Bosch sign. Oh, a little touch on the front splitter. A little more sideways on the entry there. He held that. He looked actually more committed to me than Hayden under that braking area. Up through over the rise and then into this left-hander we can see from the great drone shot. Similar, sort of just, like I said, tightening corner, but that looked well committed.
Fantastic stuff. Let's now hear from Lewis Bates, though, ahead of his run with Taylor. Sorry, with Harry.
Lewis Bates, you had a really good day yesterday and said that you found your rhythm, especially walking away with the Stage 10 win. How does it feel coming in today in your approach?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was an incredible day yesterday. Hayden and John were very fast, so it was a bit frustrating that we're so far behind them. But definitely last night, Anthony and I started to find our rhythm. And, to finish off the day yesterday with a stage win was nice, and I'm really hoping we can carry that momentum into today's stages.
Definitely a good kind of start. Well, at least the end of yesterday was really good kind of leading in. So hopefully that good luck kind of carries on in today and you can find yourself.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're hoping for. We're in pretty close battle with our teammates, Harry and Coral. So, we'll be driving as fast as we can to see if we can catch them. But I expect they'll be fast today as well. So it'll be a fun battle, I'm sure.
Nothing like a bit of brotherly rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And then we've got the power stage to look forward to this afternoon. So I'm sure all eyes will be on that as well. I think at this point in the championship, everyone wants the bonus points. So, it'll be all on for the power stage.
Good luck out there, Lewis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Lewis not too far away from getting started, and it is a nice way to end the day, but today's a new day.
Yeah, and you'll want to be quick today. It gives you some confidence, though, overnight. You asked me last night, how would you sleep? You sleep better after a little stage win, and he did a really good job, actually, in the night stage. So, like I said, good to hear from Lewis in there. Like I said, maximum commitment going to be in there. This will be a pretty telling stage for both the Toyotas. That's sort of where this little mini battle pack is. Teammates, identical cars, lots of experience on board, both Australian champions. Had a slightly different line to Harry. Didn't touch on the front bumper. Not quite as much sideways on the lean-in, but still full commitment. Up by this little rise, that's a bit deceptive. That's probably going to be steeper than you think. And then around the left-hander, a little wider, but to be honest, hard to pick some of those. But you saw a slight change of line and a little dip from Harry, not from Lewis on there.
So a nice run from Lewis. Let's go back and hear from his brother, Harry.
Harry Bates, yesterday you mentioned that you struggled a little bit getting your rhythm. How are you coming into today?
Yeah, looking forward to having daylight again, and we've got a couple of repeat stages today, so we can just keep working on, getting into that rhythm and getting the feeling that I was lacking yesterday. It wasn't a total disaster, but just didn't have the pace that I was after. So, looking forward to today, looking forward to getting going.
And we've got a really fast power stage coming up today as well, which will be really exciting. Are you going to go really aggressive for that one or kind of pace yourself throughout the day and just kind of strategize?
Power stage is very fast at this rally. So fast that they've got to put in a restricted time zone to keep speeds down. But looking forward to it. It's going to be ultra competitive and I think quite close for the power stage win. And we all want the points. So, we'll be going for it.
Love a bit of a challenge. Thank you so much, Harry.
Yeah, fascinating, isn't it, Dino? So quick that you've got to cap it at some points in this rally.
And that can happen in some sections. We see that in the Australian Championship. We'll slow into a restricted speed zone. It's almost like a virtual chicane, effectively, is what it's sort of referred to as, just to get the average speed down, make sure it's safe because, there's some high-speed roads out there. But, like I said, going to be interesting to see how the Toyotas go. Next up behind us are going to be Alex Rouleau. He's in a bit of no man's land. He's literally been almost fourth since stage one, maintained that. The gap in front's a little too far and the gap behind's too far. So it's probably a little bit of testing time. Keep the concentration up. And you're almost waiting in slips, waiting for an edge, just in case one of the guys at the front stumble. There could be a podium spot still up. And, of course, he's coming off the back of a podium. He's second outright in the last round of the championship in Queensland. So, no real mistakes so far. A bit of cosmetic damage yesterday. Let's have a look at him past us now. Just a little lift compared to the top three we can detect there. Nice and sideways on entry there. Just a little bit of modulating on the throttle, though. So you can sort of see not as quite as committed in regards to one brake application and throttle. Just a little bit of flicking through there. Nice around the left-hander. But, as we said, in a bit of no man's land, no real need to be doing anything crazy. Consolidate at this point and make sure you keep the car in good position and make sure you can sort of be there at the end of the day and pick up any loose crumbs that might come your way.
That little lift on his approach to us, like you said, that is the difference between the absolute upper echelon and a guy who is still, to his credit, doing a great job, but developing at his age.
Yeah, and I think also to the point, though, maybe if you're in the battle, they're the little bits, they're the little 0.1, 0.2 of a second that you don't lift on those. And at the moment, in the role that I'm saying he's in, I wouldn't want him to be taking any undue risks because, a little flick out of there, no need. So, but it only takes 1-2 tenths of a second per kilometre and all of a sudden you're 5 down by the end of that. So, like I said, you've got to play the game where you are. And that's what I think is the difference about endurance. We see, someone like Clayton Hoy, he's out. We won't see him today. He gets no points. The enduro round really affects his decision-making. When we do the sprint rounds, you get a chance to come back. We reset. Would the Toyotas push any harder? I don't think so. So you play a different game when it's an endurance round. Yeah,
that's it. And he will be able to have a look at Hayden Patton's data and his onboards to see the difference, right? They are teammates.
Yeah,
so you're learning off the best. And Hayden certainly didn't lift.
It's one of the big things that I think has helped Alex and Peter, for that matter, in that team. Last year we heard a lot about car setup. I'm not quite there, and they were sort of changing around a lot. I think you can look over your shoulder and go, well, hang on, Hayden's gone in this path. We've got very similar cars, spring rates. What is that? If it's working for Hayden, I just now got to adapt my drive. It gives you confidence that you're going down the right area and adapt when you need to.
Bodie Reading has been doing an outstanding job. He's leading our Wolf Production Cup after yesterday's running. That's an outstanding effort, isn't it?
Amazing job. Staying out of trouble. He had a few issues in the last round, so, with Hoy now being out, he's been given a bit of a hurry up by Traverso and a few others, but Subaru, good commitment from him through there, trying to bring it nice and straight braking on the entry. But you can see just good commitment. The sound of that boxer engine sort of echoing through the forest is pretty cool. In the WRC blue machine, a very mechanical car, like I sort of said to you last night. It doesn't have the active diffs, etc., that a modern current rally car does. So, really a lot of that comes down to his commitment behind the wheel and as a driver to maximise the car. But it'll be loving these conditions, when it gets a bit inconsistent in regards to mud and clay and stuff. This is sort of made for a car like that.
And Bodie, in his career and his development, still pretty young and still, I guess, every time he gets out in the car, he's still a sponge and learning so much. And he admitted earlier yesterday that there are a few errors that he was making. So for him today is just about keeping it clean where he's positioned.
Absolutely. Like I said, there's a couple of good guys behind him, keeping you honest in stage times. But I can sort of even see after the opening one, he was 8th quickest. He won't be happy without a couple of seconds behind Danny Traverso, who sort of won the production side and doing a good job. So at least they're keeping you honest, but same thing, no need for big risks. I think yesterday morning, when the conditions were just a little bit slick on top, they struggled. Everyone sort of talked about how it was inconsistent and struggling to get your confidence up. Today will be much better. Talking at the top of the show where we go 3rd and 4th passes, you can get your teeth into it. You can lean on the car a little bit more, and it sort of takes that guessing factor out. So he'll feel more and more confident as the day goes on.
These are pretty much perfect conditions, aren't they? I mean, we're not seeing a lot of dust when they're passing us, and we had that little bit of rain yesterday, but blue skies at the conclusion of yesterday and again this morning have things pretty nice.
And being quite crisp, the cars will be loving it. The cars will feel on power. When it gets really humid or hot, the cars feel a bit lethargic in the way their throttle response is. So this is, like you say, if there's such a thing as perfect conditions, which is very rare in rally, it's either really loose and dry and hot or really muddy and slick. This is about as good as it gets. So, great part of the world and some great rally stages.
So Danny Traverso, that man, is the next runner, and he's on a fly so far today, as you've just detailed, Dino.
Yeah, particularly that first one. Let's have a look as he approaches here. Slightly wider line than Bodie through there. Under brakes, big anti-lag from that Mitsubishi. There you can see off the throttle for quite a while. Probably don't feel quite as committed through here as Bodie had past us. Had a shot up over the crest. Let's have a look. They're all sort of taking a similar line on the left-hand. I think there's a bit of a drop probably on the outside. Plus, a bit like a circuit, there's actually a clean line to sort of be created now. So you sort of want to stay on line. You get a little bit too sideways, you'll definitely burn up time. But, he did a 6 fastest overall. And, like I said, beat Bodie by a couple of seconds in that very short first stage of the day. So.
And Danny's car, the Mitsubishi, and where he's at in his career and the things that he's striving for in coming seasons?
And the thing I said to you before, what I love about what Danny's doing is he's a Victorian. We don't see him go outside of Victoria too often, but when the main game comes in, when the Australian Championship hits here, he enters it, he joins that, and what a great job. He's getting some sort of sugar out of that from being involved in the top end of the sport in the country.
Absolutely. Stewie Reid. He's a favourite. We know him well, don't we, over the years. He's going to be our next competitor. And what have you made of his weekend so far? Always right in the thick of it.
I want to go and have a chat to him because I feel like he's a little further down the leaderboard than I would have expected on what I know he can do. He's had a few little issues with the car during the season, whether those gremlins have come back. A very spectacular driver. I'm actually very interested to see what he does over our shoulder in the line. Every time we have a camera out so far this year in the middle of the forest, he's sort of pointing at us at some point. But big commitment driver and stuff. But like I said, he's also very clued up, very experienced from that point of view. Like I said yesterday, done a lot in New Zealand. I love the fact he's back doing the RC. He's a great character. It's a cool car, just having a few little minor gremlins and issues with it, which will no doubt be frustrating him. So I feel like he's probably not positioned outright where his true pace would be. But, fighting the fight regardless. Yeah,
for those that were watching on the night stage last night, which was spectacular, he threw a few rocks at us as he went past, so we'll see what Stewie's got for us this time.
Let's have a look as he comes in over our shoulder, down through the bottom. It's big high-speed commitment, as you said. Let's see what the splitter does through there. Car moving around a little bit more. Looked a little soft on entry. Almost felt like he holds a bit of throttle on that car as he brakes, so he's probably a left-foot braker, holding a little bit of throttle to make that right-hander. Surmising a lot here, by the way, by noises, and then, of course, through that left-hander. And you did see he went a little wider there. I think there's more dust coming from Stewie Reid than anyone else. He's sitting in a outright 7th position at the moment.
So our next runner, Troy Dowell, he had a few problems yesterday, but Taylor Marlene caught up with him at Galvanise Insurance Rally Central.
Troy Dowell, you had some issues yesterday with the car, with both the flat tyre and the starter motor problems. How's it kind of looking for today?
It's looking fine for today. The boys replaced the starter motor, so hopefully no problems. Just have to not hit anything for the flat tyre issue. But we're looking forward to today, and the stages look really good.
That's great. And obviously, are you looking at pacing yourself throughout today, or leading into the power stage, you're going to be really aggressive, or what's your approach?
I think we'll just have to see how the feeling is in the car in the morning, and we'll just go from there, really. I'm looking forward to the power stage. It looks really nice and fast, but yeah.
Looks like it'll be a good run. Thank you for that, Troy.
And Troy was super impressive in the first stage today.
Yeah, I think so. Fifth outright. I think that's his true pace, to be honest, looking at the field and his experience and probably getting to know this car a little bit. You know, it's the AP4 Toyota. It's got a lot of pedigree, but he's sort of new to it. I think he's really enjoying driving it, having a few little mechanical gremlins. Had that starter motor issue yesterday, as you just spoke about there, which sort of just, it's not ideal. Puncher, which, you deal with that every now and then. But, this morning I think he's come out and probably in his rightful speed place. Overall, he's not probably in a position where he'd like to be. Didn't really love the night time. I spoke to his dad last night, who said he might have to do a few more Victorian rounds in the night to get used to that. A little wider and out wide there, but good little line up through. About what I would expect for where he's positioned and what he's doing. Doing nothing crazy, not overcommitted in the spots. Little lifts where needed to make sure he's confident on the way through. And I was just having a bit of a look before. I haven't actually got any times through for Harry on this stage. So Patton looks like he's won it at an 8:09. Lewis, great run, 1.5 seconds behind. Then we see Alex. So I'm now sort of eagerly scanning Rally Safe to look if we can see if Harry's somewhere in the stage, etc. So we'll try and come back on that. Yeah, we'll see unless there's been a delay in there. But we'll come back to that one in a second.
You mentioned Troy and needing to do perhaps a few more state rallies here. There's going to be quite a few of our drivers heading off to New South Wales to take on Narooma, which is an addition to our 2026 E-Road Australian Rally Championship. That's important, isn't it, to get that testing, because this round will be the final round next year.
The calendar got announced, so a lot of people are going, wow, I'm going to go to Narooma this year, so they'll love it from a state championship point of view. It will line up in the championship for next year as around 3 in actual fact. So this round will be the final round to fight it out. So, we've got a great calendar next year. It all sort of tips around with Queensland being round 1, then we go to WA, then, of course, it's the Narooma round, Tassie, SA, and then finish here in Victoria. So this round will be the title decider next year. So, great that the calendar can come down that early and a little bit of a switch up from previous years, which is cool.
Make sure you get your hotels booked. Make sure you get your flights sorted. And to check out the entire calendar, just head to the ARC social media pages. And we thank everyone that's tuning in at the moment on Speed Cafe, also on YouTube and on Facebook around the world. And also for the first time, Rally Radio. So gippslandrarally.com.au. So a big hello to everyone that's listening and that's been part of putting that together. That's a great initiative.
Yeah, it is great. Have a chatting in the service park, wandering around, having a chat to everybody. Just a quick update on that. Harry's time has now come through, so that was a time delay. He wins the stage.
Wow.
By 0.9, and that therefore means he's taken just over 3 seconds off Lewis. But tight little battle pack. I suspect Hayden's playing it a bit safe. Tony Sullen's coming towards him. The front drive Citroen. Nice and tight line there as he comes up the hill. Backed off probably a little earlier than he wanted to. This is all about momentum and speed. Front-wheel drive car, very different to drive through here. Particularly around this left-hand that come up through there. He's got to make sure the car drives through the corner. He doesn't want to have it too sideways on the exit and things. So, different way to drive. And Tony Sullen's doing a good job. Loves it. He's part of the MRF family. They're the control tyre. His team distribute the tyres, fit them up, etc. for the season. So, just a really enthusiastic rally guy. And, great pedigree, former champion, won Target Tasmania, etc. So.
He just loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Lives and breathes it. Every time you go to speak to him, he's got the smile on his face. He's got a story to tell, and one of the great characters that we need in the ARC.
Well, what did he say to you yesterday? I'm not sure how the night time. I haven't caught up with him to see how
his
laser surgery. So
the
maybe the daytime's going okay. But like I said, he's in a bit of sort of that car he loves. He was sort of part of that Citroen Works team with our own Adrian Coppin sort of driving back in the day when we had a front wheel drive championship. But like I said, he's a state level competitor in regards to being a championship winner. Adapts between four-wheel drive and front-wheel drive cars quite regularly. And like I said, it's not too bad on your CVs. Target Tasmania winner on the tarmac, in and amongst some of the legends of the sport back in the day, like Jim Richards, who sort of dominated that event. So can definitely steer, but I just love the fact that he rolls in and does a lot of these events and just loves that car.
Before we grab our next competitor, Harry Bates That's a bit of a statement performance, isn't it? He needed that for his confidence, I think, if nothing else after yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, I don't think he'll read too much into the beating Hayden on that stage. I think Hayden's probably going to conserve, and we sort of even heard in that grab that Hayden's going, I'm happy to let the Bateses win. You know, his ego's not getting in the way, he has to dominate and win every single stage. He's smart enough to go, I'm happy to give him a little bit of here and there. And, you know, maybe that sort of half a second or a quarter of a second decay that the boys were off yesterday, Hayden's given a little bit of that back. But I do feel like the Toyotas did look really good through here. And like I said, he'll be happy that he's got another 3 seconds on Lewis. That little game will play out towards the end of the day.
Kevin Millard coming through. We know Harry was aggressive through this section with the splitter making contact with the ground. What are you making of Kevin's efforts?
Oh, he's doing a great job. I mean, like you said, overall, you've got to think about their top 10 in an Australian Championship round. You know, depending where they're sitting in outright results and things like that, you sort of got to play your own game. A lot of these guys are not regulars in the sport, so it's, you know, great little thing to be able to go, look, chance to be in the top 10, get some points, get a bit of, you know, get a bit of coverage from me and the sponsors and the team and things. So, no, doing a great job and driving through here exactly how I'd expect to do. You know, confident, no big dramas through on the braking zones, etc. But, you know, doing a stellar job. And car's not being knocked around, so not taking any excessive risk by the looks of it. All
right, our next competitor's also been doing a great job throughout the year. He's leading the Junior Cup. It's Jackson Long.
Jackson Long, you're leading Junior Cup at the moment, which is terrific. How does it feel out there? What are the conditions like?
Yeah, it's certainly very slippery and tricky. And then we had a bit of a moment where we hit a stump on the inside of a corner, which I think a few other people hit, so it was obviously common. And so we just got to nurse the car for the rest of the night and just deal with the steering being a bit off centre. The boys will try and fix it now, but yeah, we'll just get back out there.
Well, at least you're not left out and hitting the stump then. It's a mutual thing.
Yeah, I guess it was a mistake on my part. We had a don't cut, but I may have still gone for a cut. But anyway.
And what about changes heading into the night time now? Are you making any car changes or preparation for that?
Just putting the lights on, and I think we'll run some slightly lower pressures with the lower temperatures and the slipperiness, so yeah.
I understand your relationship with your co-pilot as well would have to be really strong and trusting coming into the night session and pretty much being blinded for most of the race apart from the headlights. How does that feel?
Yeah, we made some big changes to the pace notes in the first runs, basically used it as a fast recce, and so made some changes, and yeah, we're going to very much trust the pace notes tonight, hopefully.
Looking forward to seeing it. Thanks, Jackson.
Jackson, 18 years of age, maturity beyond his years, both inside and outside the car.
Yeah, indeed. Now, every time I've seen Jackson run, he looks uber aggressive. So, okay, non-turbo, Subaru four-wheel drive car. Did not lift. I knew he would take that. Oh, he's gone cracked it sideways in there, under brakes. It was just in the loose stuff. That's the most wild entry we've seen there. Had to pluck it down a gear as he goes uphill. Just looks aggressive, but I've never seen him knock the car in too much. Of course, his dad's super experienced. He's a third generation, long in the sport. His granddad, raced Evos back in the day. That's pretty cool to see a car like that. He doesn't have the turbo power. And this is, quite hilly and undulating. He'd probably do pretty good on the downhills, but as you'd expect, he doesn't quite have the outright top speed. Absolutely nailed that, hit it flat, and then, like I said, on the entry, I think got a little bit of the loose stuff and had a little bit crossed up.
I love the red gloves because you could see the work on the wheel, couldn't you, as he went past? And I hope you could see that at home.
Well, I was almost trying to dial it in because it is quite high speed. You're sort of feeling your way through. Like you said, it was sort of exaggerated, wasn't it, as he came through? But no, great commitment. But that shows. I mean, his pace overall, he's just outside the top 10 overall. So battling in and amongst the turbocharged cars, he's actually doing a great job because he's been doing the whole season. His overall production cup area, results, is going very well points-wise. So he just keeps collecting them, etc. So, great news story there. I'm excited to see what the future holds for him, what they decide to do for that, because he's, as a talent, got the great backing from his family, and very lucky to have his dad on board. I think that's actually a rare thing. You might get a couple of young guys coming through who show it's good that they can grow together. But when you're trying to make decisions outside the car, either as a team or as a family, to where do we go and what's the next best step, no one better than an experienced dad to be involved to know, right, son, I think you're doing this well. We've got to work on this part. The notes are being delivered. So you're just getting such great information out of the car, not just two young guys going, well, we're going pretty good on love on this sport. You get to make good decisions. And I think that's going to be one of their strengths moving forward, to give him a crack.
The jungle drums are beating too about some really positive things for the future for Jackson too. Everyone wanting to get a piece of him, no doubt about it. On the flip side, hasn't been a smooth sailing and great weekend for Jared Kite. He had some problems yesterday.
No, fighting through now and doing a pretty good job. I want to have a look at his stage 1 time, actually, just to see how he went through this morning. Well, stage 11, in actual fact, but first of the day. Got the Subaru. Learning, comes from a different background. I'm quite sure, not completely confident, but comes from sort of more a drifting background or something like that. New to this car. This car came out of WA. We had Brad Ray drove this car in the West Australian Championship, and it's now been come across to Victoria. Very competent car, sequential gearbox, etc. So a lot to learn, particularly around rallying. And like I said, I think it's great that the ARC's come along and they've stepped into that, just in sort of go in for the Victorian Championship. So he'll, disappointed that had a fuel pump issue. That's not their fault. Yep. Get out there today and have another fight.
Yeah, so that was the delayed start to yesterday for him, and I think it struck again for them later in the day. So that's frustration when you're stepping up and you're throwing the budget at coming to a round like this and wanting to show what you're capable of. Yep. With the big players around you, that's a frustrating start to the day, but he's rolling on all the same.
Yeah, and look at that stage one time, in and around, Leoncini and these people and Nathan Stokes who have a bit more experience than him, so he should be buoyed by that. At the end of the day, learning a lot. Car doesn't look too knocked around. It's mechanical issues causing him a few dramas, nothing else.
Andrew Myers should be our next man to come past.
Yeah, what characters these guys are, hey? I think Taylor didn't get an interview with them this morning, but spoke to them on the way through, and they had their own little issues. I think they have a puncher yesterday and a few little break drama they're hoping to sort out. But, full commitment from these guys, and I just love the fact that they're looking to try and do more rounds of the championship. So, great story and great to have them involved and doing a good job.
Yep, and the more we have, the better. So in terms of times and so far, what is the latest update that you can bring to us?
Oh, well, let's have a look at the overall after 12. So we obviously done dial through here on the Subaru Rally results. So overall, that's the stage time. Let's recap that quickly. Yep. Harry Bates, Padden, Lewis, Alex Rouleau, Troy Dow, Bodie Reading, Stewie Reid, close behind him, Traverso, and then Sullivan's a little bit further back there. That's the top 9 as the stages come through. Next car coming in is the Evo. Look at their commitment as they come through. And you can see the hand gestures, at the end of the day. Can't call the notes traditionally. Deaf team, he's got the fingers out, pointing through. So, what a great balancing act to get a drive, committed through the forest here, getting your pace notes delivered by hand signals and things is really cool.
It sure is. The no hear, no fear team. We absolutely love everything that they're doing. Jimmy Leoncini, he had some problems yesterday, and Taylor Marlene caught up with him at Galvanise Insurance Rally Central.
Jimmy Leoncini, it's your first time in this new car and also your first time to ARC. How's it feeling out there?
It's all new to me, especially being in a four-wheel drive for the first time. First corner, I had a bit of an amateur mistake and snotted a tree, so I looked like a bit of an idiot. But anyway, it's good though. It's good being here with all the factory teams as well. Make you feel part of it.
A little bit of early drama then with the tree, but moving into today, are you adjusting your pace notes or anything, making any changes for the power stage coming up?
Not so much the pace, adjusting the pace notes. We're pretty happy with them. It's more I've got to just get used to driving the car. There's a lot of new things. Feels different, sounds different, smells different. So I just got to ease into it a bit more. That's all.
Just kind of absorbing all those senses. Sounds like a good time. So good luck out there.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So an update as well, there's a few names missing, of course, as you detailed at the top, an enduro round. So if you had a problem yesterday, that's it. You can't rejoin
you can rejoin, but you don't get it.
You're at the back.
You're at the back, and that's sort of the problem that Kite has, that they're in there, but you can never beat anyone who does the full extent of the field. So I guess a little less motivation to try and come back, potentially, depending on your problem. But when you got a hole in the block like they had, you ain't coming back, regardless of your intentions.
So you mentioned Clayton Hoynott here, Tony Oates, Molly Spalding, Nichols. So there's a few missing. So if you're wondering why you haven't seen perhaps one of your favourites go through, that could be why. Here comes Jimmy now.
Yeah, let's have a look at Jimmy, who's been learning this car. Oh, he's out wide there. Whew, I don't know if you want to be in the loose enough on the entry to that fast right-hander. Magically fast in a classic car, but the difference is you're probably driving off the throttle on a rear-wheel drive car. This is very different to use with active disc and things. That's what he said in his interview. I'm just getting my head around it. Made a few little blues along the way, and that could be one of just a bit of road positioning there as it sort of comes towards us. You don't want to be out there in the big high-speed stuff.
Yeah, well, he had that brush with the tree yesterday in the opening stage, and it was just the exit off a pretty much 90-degree corner, so perhaps, again, just that car getting used to the way the power is delivered.
Of course, because I think he would be accelerating in a rear-wheel drive car and being able to sort of steer it through this way, so it's almost a little bit like a boat, for want of a better term, where when you're four-wheel drive turbo car, you put your foot down and you got boost, it's going where the wheels are going and the diffs are trying to help you, and that is something to learn. But like I said, I think he'd have the pace because he's a really quick driver. I can go this fast, and I'm used to being the notes delivered this way, but, geez, I've got to learn the car and in and around that. So, like I said, caught him out a little bit there. Overall result catch-up, Troy Dow, who, like I said, done a great job on the first two stages, he's now leapfrogged ahead and sort of positioning himself outright where we'd expect him to be. He's now moved into 6th, so he's sort of leapfrogged past Stewie Reid and Danny Traverso. So our top let's go 5, because we don't have the whole field through, but Hayden Padden, 107.3 in front of Harry Bates. Lewis Bates is that sort of 13 seconds odd behind. Then it's a couple of minutes back to Alex Rouleau. Bodie reading, like we said. I don't know if Troy would get to Bodie to make it a top 5. That'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. There's enough Ks there. If Troy has a good run and Bodie's sort of conserving to sort of win the Wolf Production Cup, then that might be part of it as well. So.
And you can watch along at home on the Subaru Results Hub throughout the day to keep up to date with how everyone's progressing, and we'll be back again later this afternoon for another stage just after 2 o'clock. We've still got some more runners to go. This is Shane Garner. So the Garners leading the four-wheel drive Classic Cup. Dropped cylinder yesterday, though, impacting their performance.
Yeah, we'll have a listen as it goes through here. Hope they're back to full speed by the time they're running through there. And in a overall capacity, sitting in 14th outright. And, of course, this is sort of deemed to be a four-wheel drive classic car, being in the older generation Subaru. Let's have a listen through here. Little lift, but staying online. Sporting maybe the steady light bar still on the front of that. Might have taken that off myself.
That's not good for aero.
No, probably not. And not good for the budget if you have a little nose off, but maybe good for the sponsors. So going through there. And like I said, with their dramas now sort of conserving their way through, and love the fact that, we saw them on the podium in Queensland with the four-wheel drive classics and stuff. And no doubt, you don't realise actually how much experience and pace you build by going to different rounds. The Australian Rally Championship is a little bit like a mini World Championship in regards to WA is so different to Queensland, it's so different to these roads here. So you build up this experience, and you don't probably really get to pick it till you might come back and do your normal or state level competition, and you go, wow, my pace is sort of better amongst the sort of the pack that I'd normally run with because of the experience you've got at ARC.
So what are the roads and characteristics of here as opposed to then Adelaide, where we head to next?
Adelaide is a little bit like this in regards to how hard packed the road is, but we sort of deem them to be shire roads. It's sort of more sandy based, but it sort of is more shire based roads from that point of view. So hard packed, really quick. I think if we asked for a one-word explanation from the drivers about what South Australia is, they'd say fast. Yeah, and that's because you've got these well-formed shire road, meaning that road cars can traverse a dirt road, regularly, so they're well maintained. They're not really rough, they're smooth, but therefore you've got, they're quick in their nature. So. Fantastic, and a beautiful place to be in the Adelaide Hills. Very much looking forward to that. It's a great place to go. To be honest, everywhere we go is pretty good, to be fair. Dale Lineker in action at the moment, about to come past us. Let's have a look as they come through. We'll have a look at 15th outright overall, just behind the Garners in the Subaru, but in front of Stokes, who we'll see shortly, and of course Kite, who's got the penalties from not completing the full field. The Evo coming through. Lots of anti-lag on the braking zones that come up there in the Toys machine. I'm down a gear there, by the looks of it, just lifting through. Another little grab of a gear you probably can't quite see on or hear on the screen there. So, no, doing a good job, but like you said, you're now conserving your run, play it safe, and what you want to achieve at it, which is most of it, bring it home safe and put it back on the trailer tonight. So when we're talking about the title for this year, we mentioned that Adelaide is our next stop, and then after that we're off to Tassie to conclude the season if we don't get dengue fever or something from the Mozzies that are hanging around us at the moment. The title is live. Hayden Paddon, yes, it's been a pretty dominant season so far, from a winner at the WRC level, the two-time European champion. I mean, every time we're here, we talk about how credentialed he is and what he's done to this series and lifting and driving those around him. The gap, 35 points over Lewis Bates coming in to this round. It's still game on, because all it takes is one moment. I mean, we saw for him at our opening event in Canberra, where he had the moment with the kangaroo, that anything can happen, and this is going the distance all the way to Tassie. Absolutely, yeah, it will do. I think even, he's doing a great job, and now his role will be, he's got to get to tonight. We're talking like it's, complete. Yes, it's not. Yeah. He's got to get there, and that's the thing about all motorsports, but it's, never done till it's done. There's still mechanical, the speed itself, etc. So I think the battle will go to Tasmania regardless. We hope. That's what we're hoping for, unless the Toyotas have their own dramas. But he's smart enough to know that at the same time. So he will not talk about championship and being that close to locking it away until they cross the finish line in Tasmania. And, what a great story. I think, he looked at someone like a Possum Baum back in the day, and here he is. He's the Kiwi, taking on, ironically, the Aussies and a Bates at that, or two Bateses. Yeah. So he's taken on double trouble, what even Possum did back in the day. Yeah, it's almost like history repeats in some ways, isn't it? Nathan Stokes is about to come past us. Let's have a look at his line and what you make of this, Dino. The slightly newer, so this is very similar to Kite's, but a sedan version of the Subaru. Good that he's staying out of a bit of trouble. Had a lot of drama in Queensland, knocked the car around a little bit. They had to sort of do a few repairs to it and things. So great that the team based out of Tasmania to get that sorted. This car comes out of the Les Walkton rallying garage in Tassie, commits to the championship. Always a colourful colour scheme on this car with the victory signage down the side of it, etc. So, no, did a good job. But like I said, now fighting back from the dramas from the last rounds and things. So let's just recap quickly overall. Now we've got the stages after 12. So it's Hayden Paddon still in front of Harry Bates, Lewis Bates, Alex Rouleau, Bodie Reading, Troy Dow, Traverso, Reed, Sullins and Long jumps into the top 10 after this one, after his big commitment run through here.
Yeah, we loved seeing Jackson Long go past. We've loved being here for Thomson 3. We'll be back at Thomson later this afternoon, just after 2 o'clock. You'll see it all here on Speed Cafe, also on Facebook and YouTube. Dino, thank you.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
I'll make sure I get some bug spray for when we venture out this afternoon. But that's it for us for right now. This is the E-Road Australian Rally Championship, the middle of everywhere Gippsland Rally. Keep up to date with progress throughout the day on the Subaru Results Hub and also across our socials.